A closely held Chinese oil company agreed to buy a minority stake in Rosneft PJSC for about $9 billion, deepening energy and political ties with Russia amid increasing tensions with the US. The deal sees Glencore Plc and Qatar's sovereign wealth fund selling most of their holding in Russia's biggest crude producer, which they acquired to much fanfare in December. The commodities giant run by Ivan Glasenberg is making way for the Clean Energy Finance Corporation China, little known even within the energy industry, while retaining its prized access to millions of barrels of Russian oil exports. They are happy that it was specifically a Chinese corporation. The Clean Energy Finance Corporation will buy a 14.16% stake in Rosneft from a joint venture between Glencore and the Qatar Investment Authority for about $9 billion. In turn, Glencore and Qatar will use the proceeds to pay down the debt they contracted to buy their initial stake just 9 months ago for about $12 billion. Glencore will retain a 0.5% stake and Qatar a 4.7% stake. The participation of the Clean Energy Finance Corporation marks a departure from tradition, as Beijing has relied in the past on state-owned China National Petroleum Corporation and China Petroleum and Chemical Corporation, also known as Sinopec, to buy stakes in foreign energy companies. The structure of the deal and the speed at which the transaction with the Clean Energy Finance Corporation was announced raise questions about why Glencore and Qatar bought the stake last year in the first place. At the time of that deal in December, politician Grigory Yevlensky accused the government of rushing the sale to help finance the 2016 budget, with the two companies holding a stake until a final buyer could be found. The political importance of the transaction was evident in April, when Russian President Vladimir Putin awarded the Order of Friendship, a top state honor, to Glasenberg, Qatari royal Sheikh Abdullah bin Mohammed bin Saud Al Thani, and bankers involved in the transaction. "I want to express my confidence that your business in Russia will develop and will develop successfully," Putin said at the time. Just 5 months later, Glencore has sold most of its stakes, but nonetheless retains a prized side deal with Rosneft to trade Russian crude that was part of the initial transaction in December. Glencore currently trades about 400,000 barrels per day pumped from Rosneft. Rosneft shares rose 2.9% to 314.95 rubles in Moscow. Glencore slipped 1.5% to 363.05 pence in London. The sale price, a premium of 16% to the 30-day volume-weighted average price of Rosneft shares on September the 8th, is equivalent to about $9.1 billion. Russia has muscled its way into the prized Chinese energy market over the last 5 years, elbowing aside traditional stalwarts Saudi Arabia and Angola. Moscow has been the top crude supplier to China for most of the year and now plans to start supplying natural gas by pipeline in 2019. This deal intensifies the energy relationship between Russia and China. Rosneft keeps its customers close to its heart. Buy a stake, get an oil supply agreement. The Clean Energy Finance Corporation, founded by Chairman Yu Jianming in 2002, has expanded from a small fuel oil trading operation into a larger company, owning oil and gas production assets, as well as terminals and storage in Central Asia, the Middle East, Europe and Africa. The Chinese company isn't only establishing a presence in Russia. Abu Dhabi National Oil Corporation in February awarded the Clean Energy Finance Corporation a 4% stake in an onshore venture that includes China National Petrol Corporation, the Asian nation's biggest producer, as well as British Petroleum Plc and Total Sa, Japan's Inpex Corporation and South Korea's GS Energy. In March, it agreed to buy a stake in the US broker Cow Group Incorporated. In September, CEFC and Rosneft signed an agreement for the long-term supply of Russian crude oil to China. That followed a cooperation agreement in July that included an option for CEFC China to buy into the Russian company's retail business. They were also looking at developing joint exploration and production projects in Siberia. To get faster updates and the latest news from the oil and gas industry, please subscribe to the YouTube new video channel and connect with us on Facebook, Twitter or LinkedIn.